Hey there fellow adventurers, Patrick here from HikeAlong, heading to one of my go-to short trails. The Venable Lake Loop is a little tucked away trail that's part of the larger Cherokee Trail, which encompasses all of Stone Mountain here just outside of Atlanta, Georgia. This loop is just one of almost a dozen trails in the park. If you haven't been to Stone Mountain, or if you've only been on the trail that goes to the top of the mountain, I encourage you to check all the other trails out. I'll try to review all of them over the course of the next few months. Today though, let's explore this little known trail. Being that it's inside Stone Mountain Park, you will have to pay $20 to get in by car, or $40 for an annual pass, which is a no-brainer, especially if you're a local. To get to the trailhead, you'll have to drive past the main parking lot for the Mountaintop Trail, and travel down Robert E. Lee Boulevard until you reach the parking lot at the corner with Stonewall Jackson Drive. Depending on which way you want to go, you can hop on the trailhead directly across from the parking lot, or across the bridge and get on from the other side. Since I'm weird, I'll be going counterclockwise and crossing the bridge first. Right off the bat, the view you get from the bridge of Venable Lake is pristine. Just imagine it at sunrise with a little overcast. Actually, you don't have to imagine. Here are some pictures I took. I love coming here to watch the sunrise, and this isn't the only spot with a nice vista, even on this short loop, which comes in at 1.7 miles, so it should take roughly an hour to complete. On the other side, we see Catfish Pond. Walking up the road, you'll see a crosswalk indicating the start of the loop on the left. I'll take this little shortcut to hop right on the trail. I'll be speeding up certain parts of my trek for the review, but if you want to get the full experience without the commentary or music, I uploaded the full-length recording to the channel already. Link to that will be in the description or a card. It makes for great background noise as it's just nature and footsteps in the dirt. As mentioned, this half of the loop is part of the 4-mile Cherokee Trail that goes all around the park. One of the nice features you'll find on most of the trails in Stone Mountain are the abundant trail markings. Here we'll see a white vertical marking indicating we are on the Cherokee Trail. The other half of the loop will be orange, indicating a connecting trail. While that's a nice feature of this trail, we run into one of the hazards, the roots. We'll see several patches of exposed roots on this trail, so you'll definitely have to be aware of where you're stepping, especially if you plan on running. One of the things I love about this trail is how close you get to the water, and that you're really never that far away from it. Depending on the time of year, you can see geese, blue herons, and even the occasional otter swimming in the lake. Coming up is one of my favorite places to stop and take pictures, or just enjoy the vista. This log in the mud is the marker. From here you get an amazing view of the lake, the tree line, and Stone Mountain itself. Again, depending on what time of day you go, you can get some amazing shots from this spot. Let's remove this fog for a sec so you can see what to expect. These are just a couple of the pictures I've taken from right here. I will never get tired of a partly cloudy sunrise, simply majestic. Moving on, while this trail is relatively flat, with only 85 feet of total elevation change, there are actually several hills we'll be traversing, making it a decent workout for most. You'll notice you'll almost always have a sightline with the lake, but again, watch your step with those roots. While we're on our way to the next spot, just a few points about the trail. It is pet friendly, so definitely bring your doggos out here, they'll love it, mine sure does. No biking is allowed on this part of the trail, but as you saw at the beginning, the road around Stone Mountain is perfect for biking, jogging, or running, which is a great alternative if, for instance, a heavy rain bogged down the trail, which does happen on occasion. As we venture into the interior, we find a smallish stream and waterfall. While the waterfall is lovely, we do run into another one of the particulars of this trail. You'll have to make a little jump to get to the other side, and depending on how much it's rained recently, that jump could be a small one or a large one. So I highly recommend making sure you have proper hiking shoes because running water on bare stone is not a good mix for a walking, jumping human. Just watch your step and you should be fine. I'll stick to the official trail for now, but I definitely encourage you to explore and get those shots. Let's continue. Another note about Stone Mountain in general, since the park is basically in the center of a major metropolitan area and relatively close to the busiest airport in the world, you'll hear the occasional flyover from jets and helicopters, and the in and out of sirens, especially from the neighboring highway. And, most annoyingly of all, the conversations from people on the loop road who think the entire galaxy cares what their psychic told them yesterday. Seriously though, I recorded this trail 3 times and in every one I can clearly hear conversations people are having from the road across the lake. But I digress. Thankfully, as we get close to my next favorite spot, they all get drowned out anyway. Luckily, they did build a nice bridge over this gap coming up. Before the bridge though, there is this little marker indicating the entrance to a connecting trail on the right that leads to the Atlanta Evergreen Marriott. It's a nice short 0.6 mile trail which on its own has some great vistas. I'll probably visit it on another trail review video. Over the bridge we go, and to the right is an offshoot that I will take because it's awesome. At the end of this peninsula, there is a perfect resting spot to sit and enjoy the view while listening to the running water right beside you. This is another good spot for photos. This body of water is actually part of the much larger Stone Mountain Lake. At this point, we are roughly midway through the loop. Heading back to the trail, we walk between both lakes. Again, there are several offshoots on both sides where you can get closer to the water for some different perspectives. At the end of this path, we'll hit a fork. Going to the right, we'll continue on with the Cherokee Trail. We'll be heading to the left to get onto the second half of the loop. Right away, we see the marker is now orange, which again is just telling us we are on a connecting trail for the full Cherokee Trail. This side of the loop is similar to the last, but it is less traveled for the most part. Not sure why. A little ways in, there are remnants of an old granite chimney that used to belong to a long gone house. I'll pop up the accompanying plaque on the screen, so if you'd like to pause the video to read it, you can. Heading on, we come across another gap with a small stream where you just need to watch your step to jump across. As you may have noticed, this half of the loop is relatively flatter compared to the first half, but the views of the water are just as nice. Around the corner, we have a slightly larger example of flowing water over bare stone. I would simply advise going across the top where it's level to get to the other side. Unless it hasn't rained for more than a week, this area will always be a little boggy, which is true for several parts of the trail here and around the park. Nonetheless, between the bogs are great views. At the start of this small inlet is probably the most precarious section of the trail. The stream starts higher up near the road and spreads out as it comes down the hill, making for a wide, marshy area. Again, depending how much it's rained, there could be several ways to get across. I took this small jump on the bottom and then hopped on a log to get across. But when you're here, there could be any number of other ways to get across. The last quarter of the trail is quite tranquil, with a lot of spots to sit down right on the edge of the lake and enjoy the view. Maybe do some fishing if you're so inclined. I most enjoy the spots where there are smooth rock shores. These are great spots to sit or lay down without being directly on the dirt or mud. Again, I just love how we are always close to water. It's one of my favorite things about this trail and the larger Cherokee Trail, although the latter does have stretches where you're not near the water at all. We get one more bridge crossing over a stream, which honestly is just a storm water drain outlet, but nevertheless, it's nice that they made two bridges over the larger streams like this one. But some of the other parts of the trail that are almost perpetually bogged down could use something to help people get across. Of course, doing some parkour is part of the fun. Entering the final stretch, the bridge we crossed at the beginning comes into clear view. We have one last jump across a gap. Again, just watch your step and you should be fine. At the top of the hill, we cross the road and end up back in the parking lot where we started. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this trail review. I also hope you get an opportunity to try the trail out for yourself. Look forward for a full recording and review of the Cherokee Trail sometime soon. Thanks again for watching. Like and share so others can find out about this trail in the future. Until next time, this has been Patrick with HikeAlong. Goodbye.